All right, let's just dive right in. Picture this. It's really only a matter of time before some sort of catastrophic event happens, right? A massive asteroid hits, the poles suddenly shift, or, a global nuclear conflict breaks out. When doomsday scenarios like that actually play out, there are official protocols in place. We know for a fact that the president and key military figures are immediately whisked away to secure underground facilities. But what about everyone else? And maybe more importantly, where exactly are these massive bunkers meant to house the thousands of chosen VIPs? Well, if you follow the breadcrumbs here in the US, a whole lot of people believe the ultimate doomsday destination is actually right in the middle of Colorado, in Denver.
So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to unpack one of the most sprawling, absolutely fascinating, and just downright bizarre mysteries of the modern age, the Denver International Airport. For decades now, this massive travel hub has been the epicenter of some seriously wild conspiracy theories. We're talking shadow governments, secret underground bases, and some extremely weird apocalyptic art. We're going to look at the evidence, dig into the history, and try to separate the terrifying fiction from the genuinely fascinating facts.
Section 1. The Doomsday Airport. The mystery surrounding this place actually began way before a single drop of concrete was ever poured.
See, in the early 90s, Denver made this incredibly puzzling decision to completely decommission their perfectly functional Stapleton Airport. Instead, they wanted to build a brand new facility 25 miles out in the middle of absolute nowhere. And the construction process? It was a total mess. Contractors were constantly hired, fired, and replaced, to the point where practically nobody knew the full scope of the project. When the airport finally did open its doors on February 28, 1995, it was a full 16 months behind schedule and cost an unbelievable $4.8 billion. I mean, that is almost double the original estimate. Naturally, eyebrows were raised immediately.
But what really made people suspicious right off the bat was the sheer, unprecedented scale of the thing. The airport complex sits on 53 square miles of land. To put that into perspective for you, that is literally twice the size of Manhattan. Twice the size. It was almost double the size of the next biggest airport in the US, which makes absolutely zero sense when you consider that Denver was only the 20th busiest airport in the country at the time. This massive overkill led a lot of folks to believe the project included something far, far bigger than just commercial runways.
And then there's the dirt. During construction, an unbelievable 110 million cubic yards of earth were moved. That's enough dirt to account for about 1/3 of the entire Panama Canal. People started doing the math, and they realized pretty quickly that moving this astronomical amount of earth would easily provide enough space for a massive, multi-level underground facility, or maybe even a deep tunnel connecting straight to the nearby Cheyenne Mountain military bunker. So, workers on the site started noticing these bizarre anomalies. For instance, they installed 5,300 miles of fiber optics. That is enough cable to stretch from New York to LA and back again. They also built a fuel system that can pump 1,000 gallons of jet fuel per minute, plus the longest runway in the US at almost 3 miles long. All of this is just massive overkill for your standard commercial flights. Early on, rumors even swirled that the barbed wire fencing was angled inward, as if to keep people inside rather than out. But the craziest part? 5 large, fully completed buildings, some up to 15 stories tall, were allegedly deemed to be in the wrong place. But instead of demolishing them, they just buried them intact.
Section 2. Creepy art and hidden symbols. Moving out of the construction zone and into the terminal, things get pretty disturbing.
The very first thing that greets you when you arrive on the property is this towering, 32-foot-tall, 9,000-pound bright blue horse. Oh, and it has bulging veins and glowing red eyes. Locals immediately dubbed it Blucifer, comparing it to the pale horse of the apocalypse. And, in a tragic twist that sounds like it was ripped straight out of a horror movie, but is 100% true, this statue literally killed its creator. The artist, Luis Jimenez, died in a freak accident when a massive piece of the sculpture fell on him and severed an artery in his leg. Once you step inside, it honestly only gets weirder. Travelers are greeted by gargoyles casually perched in the baggage claim. Then there are the massive murals by artist Leo Tanguma. They vividly depict things like dead children in coffins, a burning forest, and this absolutely terrifying figure in a gas mask slicing a dove of peace with a scimitar. Just what you want to see before a flight, right? On top of that, people noticed a mining cart inscribed with the letters AUAG etched into the floor. And the cherry on top? In the Great Hall, there's a Masonic Capstone sitting over a time capsule, which weirdly includes a pair of the mayor's dirty sneakers, set to be opened in 2094. It bears the name of the New World Airport Commission, an organization that literally did not exist. So when you put all these clues together,
The Freemason imagery, the non-existent New World Airport Commission, the intensely apocalyptic art, theorists connected the dots straight to the New World Order. The prevailing theories suggest that a shadow government of global elites is using the Denver airport as a massive staging ground. The idea is that they're preparing to weather a coming apocalypse in luxury, while the rest of humanity, well, doesn't.
Section 3. Underground bunkers and whistleblowers. Because to find the supposed true purpose of the airport, you have to look directly beneath the terminal floors.
Now, you might remember the highly publicized complete failure of the airport's automated baggage system, which blew through $100 million. Well, rumors claim that whole fiasco was just a clever cover story. Whistleblowers have alleged that the underground area isn't just a massive baggage network, but actually an 8-level deep, 4.5 square miles subterranean military base. The theories here are wild, ranging from underground FEMA camps designed for political dissidents, complete with lethal gas sprinklers, to a so-called Area 52 where UFOs are being reverse engineered. And yeah, the most extreme fringe theories even suggest it's the headquarters for a cannibalistic cabal of shape-shifting reptilian humanoids.
These subterranean rumors gained a ton of traction thanks to an engineer named Phil Schneider. Back in 1995, Schneider came forward claiming he had personally worked on secret, deep underground military bunkers, specifically pointing the finger at Denver. During a very public talk, he injected a real true crime chill into the whole conspiracy. He warned the audience that his life was in active danger for speaking out, ominously stating that if he ever turned up dead, he was murdered. Well, shortly after giving that warning, Schneider actually did die under incredibly mysterious circumstances. That really cemented the airport's sinister reputation for good.
Section 4. Separating fact from fiction. All right, it's time to shift gears for a second and look at the actual grounded explanations for all these anomalies.
Let's pull the rug out from under some of these claims. Take the runway layout. From the air, sure, it arguably resembles a swastika, which fueled all sorts of Nazi theories. But factually, the runways are just laid out in a pinwheel design. This is specifically so planes can safely land from any direction depending on the wind, avoiding crosswinds entirely. What about that terrifying New World Airport Commission carved into the Masonic Capstone? It was a real group, yes, but it wasn't a shadow government. It was literally just an incredibly poorly named, temporary local committee formed solely to plan the airport's opening ceremony. That's it.
And what about the deadly gas chamber sprinklers and that sinister AUAG symbol on the floor? Well, AU and AG are literally just the periodic table symbols for gold and silver. They were placed inside a little mining cart design just to honor Denver's rich mining history. It is definitely not a secret reference to a deadly hepatitis antigen used for global depopulation. And those ominous sprinklers in the tunnels? Totally mundane. They are strictly mandated by standard fire codes simply because of the large amounts of highly flammable materials stored underground.
As for the horrifying apocalyptic art, those murals, which, by the way, have since been placed in storage, were actually just artist Leo Tanguma's earnest, well-intentioned attempt to paint a story. It was a narrative showing environmental destruction that eventually gives way to world peace, heavily influenced by his Chicano heritage. Was it incredibly morbid and a terrible, terrible choice for a building full of stressed-out flyers? Absolutely. But it was just bad airport curation, not a New World Order indoctrination manual.
Section 5, the remaining mysteries. Because while it's easy to debunk a lot of this, there are still a few things that keep the fire burning. The reason this conspiracy won't just die is that certain things about it align perfectly with undeniable realities of the U.S. government. We know for an absolute fact that continuity of government, or COG, protocols are real. The government definitely builds massive, highly classified underground fortresses to protect elected leaders during nuclear war or extinction events. Facilities like Mount Weather in Virginia and Cheyenne Mountain, right there in Colorado, are well-documented factual bases designed for this exact purpose. And for the skeptics out there who say, come on, there's no way a secret base could operate under a busy public airport without thousands of workers noticing. Well, history actually proves otherwise. Just look at the Greenbrier precedent. This was a massive 112,000 square foot government bunker, complete with 25-ton blast doors and a full hospital that was perfectly hidden directly underneath a bustling luxury resort in West Virginia. For 30 years, Congress's primary doomsday destination operated right under the public's noses, with staff working there entirely unnoticed, until the media finally exposed it in 1992. So it is possible. Now add that historical precedent to a very, very suspicious timeline from the fall of 2011. Back then, Comet Elenin was discovered heading toward Earth, and for a brief window, NASA was assessing it as a potential extinction-level threat. During this window of high uncertainty, official protocol dictated the president be moved to a secure location. But strangely, instead of being taken to the standard Cheyenne mountain bunker, President Obama was reportedly routed straight to, you guessed it, the Denver airport.
So, how exactly does the airport administration handle these lingering questions today? They lean into it hard. They treat it with this heavy, almost condescending humor. During recent terminal renovations, they put up construction signs apologizing for the noise caused by the lizard people and claiming they were just remodeling the Illuminati headquarters. They even installed an interactive animatronic talking gargoyle right in the middle of the terminal that literally roasts conspiracy theorists as they walk by.
And that is the official stance. The airport's CEO and spokespeople have fully embraced the meme. As one spokesman put it perfectly, we decided a few years ago that rather than fight all of this, let's have some fun with it. They've chosen to openly mock the theorists, turning the entire airport into a giant inside joke, rather than ever seriously addressing the logistical anomalies of its construction. Which really leaves us with this final thought. When you step back and look at the unprecedented scale of the dirt they moved, the billions of dollars spent, and the factual, real-world history of massive government bunkers hiding perfectly in plain sight, you kind of have to ask yourself, is all this corporate comedy and public mockery really just a bit of innocent fun? Or is getting us all to laugh at the skeptics the ultimate, perfect cover-up for whatever massive secrets are truly buried deep beneath the Denver runways? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll see you on the next one.